and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris, and on today's video we're talking about a fragrance from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. So this fragrance has a lot of fanfare. There are a lot of fans for this fragrance. There are a lot of reviews out there as well, and one of my viewers let me know in the comments that Fragrance Lord, which is I don't know if they're a discounter site or if they're just sell, they are a discounter site, but I mean, they give you samples, which I did not know that before. They let me know that this site had Babycat, which is a Middle East exclusive, I believe, for Yves Saint Laurent VESTIAIRE collection. So this is going to be Yves Saint Laurent's more expensive, more premium range of fragrances. And this fragrance came out in 2022, so it's been around for quite some time, and let's see if it's good or not. So starting off with packaging, this is the same box that you get with every Le Vestiaire de Parfums by Yves Saint Laurent fragrance, and it's just a simple white box. I mean, there's nothing super special to it. It does say Babycat there on the front. It does have all the information here at the bottom. It says Yves Saint Laurent, or it has a YSL logo at the top, I should say. And this one is made in France, or it should be made in France. Let's see. Yes, it's made in France. So it's, even though it's Middle East exclusive, and I know certain stores in the UK, I believe, as well as France, will carry this fragrance, but as of now, it's still exclusive to the Middle East. So it's a little hard to get. So typically here in the States, you would be paying $295 for 125 mils or 4.2 fluid ounces. But this one itself is a lot more expensive because they obviously have to, I don't know how to get the fragrance. I'm assuming someone buys them in bulk and then ships them here. But this one itself did retail me for $340 US. So a lot of money. And this is what the fragrance looks like. It reminds me a lot of the color that Tuxedo has. It reminds me of Tuxedo in a lot of different ways. It's a little darker. It's gonna have that vanilla in here. Just so you do know, this is not the color that the fragrance will stay. As time progresses, the color will get darker, as vanilla is a note that tends to oxidize inside of fragrances as soon as oxygen is pumped in. How do you pump oxygen into your fragrance? Every time you spray it, oxygen goes into the fragrance, and that is how the fragrance oxidizes, changing the color, sometimes changing the smell, not necessarily, but mainly the color is what changed. Launched in 2022. This has been around for quite some time now, and the perfumer for this is Dominique Rupion. Dominique Rupion does a lot of work for Frederic Malle in particular. He's done, I think, Portrait of a Lady. He does a lot of different work. He's very, 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 very talented. This fragrance is good. It's very Yves Saint Laurent. What I mean by that is that it's gonna have that powdery background, but it's not like a Chanel powdery or a Celine powdery, because both of those tend to have that DNA in their actual fragrance line. This is more of a rock and roll, more seductive type of powderiness in the background, where Celine is a little bit more minimal, and then Chanel is just classic, kind of older, if you will. This one's gonna be more rock and roll, more sexy. The notes for this, at the top, we're gonna get LNE resin, black pepper, pink pepper. In the middle, we're going to get frankincense resin, and saffron. Saffron is very prevalent in here, as well as a frankincense. You do get a lot of resin-y type of notes in this fragrance, causing it to have a sweetness to the fragrance overall. In the base, we're gonna get vanilla, a very prevalent note in this fragrance, as well as suede and cedarwood. So the fragrance is very, very nice. It's gonna be more based on vanilla. It's gonna have a lot of suede in it as well, and it's gonna be kind of a raw suede, but very polished and very tamed, if that makes any sense. So it's a very nice scent. When it first starts off, you do get a lot of that powderiness at the top with those vanilla notes, and then the dry down starts to become very similar to Tuxedo. I will say that Tuxedo is a little bit more sharp, a little bit more powdery than this fragrance itself. Add vanilla to Tuxedo and you're gonna get Babycat. That's just what it is, at least in my opinion, from smelling both of the fragrances. It does resemble Tuxedo quite a bit, but just more vanilla, a little bit more creamy, a little bit more warmer than Tuxedo. I know a lot of people do compare this to Cure. There's no similarities there whatsoever, because Cure is a lot of violets. It's gonna have some ouds. It's gonna have lots and lots of leather in it. This one itself is suede, so it's softer. It's a little bit more delicate than the actual leather notes. And those resins and saffrons in this fragrance really make it a softer, more creamy fragrance overall. Very expensive smelling. I can't say it doesn't smell like an Yves Saint Laurent fragrance, but I will say, for as much fanfare as this fragrance does have, it's a little disappointing. I think that people overhype things, and we all tend to get this idea in our head that it's going to be the most magical thing in the whole wide world, and it's not. And I have to say that, you know, just not trying to be mean to the fragrance, because I do like it. I do think it smells good. It's a nice fragrance. It's going to be mass market likable. And what I mean by that is that it's not going to be necessarily super artsy or super different to anything else in the market. It's going to be mass appealing. So if you spray this, you go to the office, it's going to remind you of like Dolce & Gabbana The One, or it's going to remind you of other fragrances like La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent as well. It's going to have that very tamed down powdery vanilla accord, but it's not super groundbreaking to the point where I would say that you would justify paying this amount of money for it. Do I think it adds something to your collection? Sure, it's going to add some warmth, it's going to add some vanilla, it's going to add that Yves Saint Laurent sexiness to your collection, but it's not going to be something that you're going to be wowed and blown away with. I know, I mean, it's just the truth. I was going into this review with high expectations. Maybe my expectations are too high. Maybe that could be the possibility. But it's just, I don't know. It's not really... It's not really ruffling my feathers, if you will. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me. I think it's a nice scent. I think it's likable. You would definitely not be sad with your purchase or, you know, disgusted by the way that you smell, but I don't think you're going to be blown away the way that you think you will by getting this fragrance. By the way, the name of this fragrance is Babycat, and I know that a lot of people are saying, why is it named Babycat? It's actually named Babycat because Yves Saint Laurent used to use a lot of frequently used animal print, in particular leopard print, in his couture and in his fashion shows, which is where this fragrance gets its name from. A lot of his fragrances, actually all of the Vestiaire collections, come from the couture clothing first, so that's why you have tuxedo, but most of the actual fragrances do come, you know, from clothing pieces that are iconic to the house of Yves Saint Laurent, like blouse and trench for the trench. It's not a terrible price to pay, $340. I do think that it's, again, a little bit much on the fanfare for the fragrance, but it's a nice one. I think you'll like it. I think you'll be happy with your purchase, and I think you will be satisfied if you're looking for a warm vanilla fragrance that is also wearable on a daily basis. So let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on this fragrance are. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you excited to try this fragrance? Let me know down below. Also, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more fragrance related content. Until next time, you guys, take care. Bye.